today I'm going to be shooting in a way that's inspiring, creative, and opens up our eyes to lots of photographic opportunities moving forward every time we go out with our camera. So with that being said, let's go take some photos. It's been quite some time since I've done this, so hopefully I'm not too rusty at it, but the premise is super simple. Every subject or scene or something that I see that I want to take a photo of, I'm going to take a trio, mini little series of 3 different images. And normally when I approach this, I'll take your main establishing shot, an angled shot of it perhaps, and then a detail shot. And of course, who am I to tell you the rules? I could do 3 detail shots if I wanted, 3 main shots. It all just depends what I'm feeling like when it comes to exploring the subject. But the goal basically is to take a trio of images that all sit together. I definitely didn't need this many layers on today. It's boiling, so I'm just gonna have to dump my stuff as I go around. But the main reason I've had a day of doing this in the past is due to feeling a little bit uninspired and uncreative and wanting to switch it up a bit. But outside of that, and obviously outside of the fact it's quite a fun way to shoot as well, there are so many benefits to doing this, especially for people that might struggle to see and find images or struggle to get more out of a single subject than that main shot. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as I get up this path and take some more images, and hopefully I do it justice, but only time will tell. So let's take this trailer for example. Kind of quirky in the middle of nowhere. Clearly someone's been repairing the bridge just around this corner and they've left a trailer with some wooden tools and stuff on, which I think is somewhat interesting. So my main shot would probably be wanting to include some of the path going up there, maybe some of the bridge as well. And then next one, showing a bit more of what's in the trailer, the wood, the materials. We've also got a little petrol canister, I assume, or some kind of oil next to it. So I'd probably go from this side, completely different side of our subject. So that would be hopefully my second frame, and then we could go for a detail of the petrol canister, or we could get a detail of the wheels or something. Maybe there's some highlight hitting the top of this canister, so I quite like including that, and then a bit of the blue sheet potentially. And then what I could also do is, there's some nice trees behind me here. I could just step behind them and include some of that as some foreground interest in front of the trailer. So let's just give that a quick go. This one's going to be difficult. I'm going to have to find a couple of angles where these trees aren't cutting over it. So we've got one here already, nice and simple down here. Some wooden planks on the floor there as well. Potentially include quite a lot of the trees up there. Be nice if they weren't dead, so this is definitely a place I'm going to come back to. Yeah, about here, and then positioning it on the lower third, I think, so that we have them trees looming above it. Yeah, so if I get right down here, it looks like I can avoid the trees again through here, or maybe get some trees in front of it, which isn't too bad, but at least we get the doorway unimpeded. And there's some kind of, don't know what that is, green metal thing on the floor there, so that adds nicely to the shot as well. So I think kind of the same concept here, using the top of the bank as almost the horizon. Yeah, don't mind this one. And then let's go ahead and see if we can get some kind of detail. And there's a nice detail of the brickwork there. I guess I should note as well, I'm shooting all these landscape today. I do think oftentimes the trios work better in portrait. They definitely sit nicer on a page or a screen as portrait images, but I'm shooting all landscape, so makes it maybe a little bit difficult to get the trio, I'm not sure. The reason I find this way of shooting so beneficial is because at times it can be hard to look past the main shot. You know, you rock up at a location, and sometimes, especially if you've already seen photos of it online before, it can be difficult to look past that main shot, and you kind of already know whereabouts you're going to stand when you rock up to a location, especially if you've been doing photography for a long time. It's instinct to go and stand in the best place. It forces you to see more, makes you more observant, and I've said a few times on my channel now, probably 20 times, that observation is paramount to being a fantastic photographer, at least in my eyes, and observation is something I'm actively working on all the time. Let's say you go for a walk in the mountains and you're high up in the mountains. Sometimes the most compelling photo isn't the big, vast viewpoint of the mountain range. Sometimes it might be a tiny little detail that you find on the floor, or something that you can pick out in the distance. And I think this is what this way of shooting really sort of helps and aids you with, if you do give it a go. Behind me from that stone hut, you can see that green metal house, shed. I assume it was a shed for the trains or the wagons or whatever that came up here in the mining era. It's got a bit of graffiti and stuff on it now, which I'll take a closer look at in a minute. But this shot from down here I think is really cool because it's quite far away. There is some trees covering it, but there's enough of it exposed that it's still interesting and makes you think, what's up there, sort of thing. So I think I'm just going to shoot it from down here, from between these two trees like this, and try not to get any of these branches cutting into the frame. As you can see, we've got this strange mural on the side of the building here, so I think this makes a nice, good, straight on shot. All right, I think from somewhere over here might be my final shot. This one's probably the most obvious from over here. And this metal railing's so cool if I could find a way to incorporate it. There's yet another subject up there behind me. So let's go check it out. I'm not going to take any photos of this one. It looks a little bit too new for my liking, believe it or not. Okay, I lied actually, because I've just come around the corner and found this one. And this wasn't the one I was coming to. So again, let's start with an establishing shot. I'm guessing from somewhere around where the video camera is. Maybe getting through these two trees so that they're not in the front. So what I really like about this front angle here is the trees on the left and the trees here kind of perfectly work as a left and right anchor for the building to sit in between the middle of. So obviously normally when you take a front on shot, at times if there's nothing else kicking off, nothing on the floor in the front, nothing added to the scene, it can just be a bit like, oh, it's the front of a building. Sometimes it works magnificently if it's very minimal and stuff and there's lots of character to the building, which this one could work for, but the fact that there's these beautiful trees either side looks fantastic. And coming back here when all these trees have got all their life to them, the shots might be even better. My detail shot of choice, I think, I just a second ago took one of just the paintwork chipping away, like this section here, but then I decided I'm going to drop the camera down and use this upside down L shape here as some framing into kind of the destruction inside here, focus in there about f4, f5. So this has got some softness to it. A bit sketch of going in here in case it falls down on my face. And then you guys never see this video. And that would be a shame, wouldn't it? Because obviously my videos are so good. So this is one of those very ideal situations where what you could want from an image is kind of already present. Got the rubble, the wood in the foreground to double down on the kind of state of the area, and especially the building sitting behind it, which is obviously in disarray. And then some trees coming out the top, which again, later on in the year, if they get leaves on, that's going to make that even more interesting. So, I mean, nothing complicated here. I'm going to get a straight down shot. The only thing I will say is this subject is the first subject this morning that's had probably the least pleasing lighting due to the amount of sky that's behind it, which is making the subject itself like very dark in comparison, but that's okay. We can deal with it. Let's step back to about here. And basically the only key here really is making sure that the rubble and stuff in the foreground is organised quite nicely in the frame and we don't have any awkward bits. So my two initial thoughts are to get something really, really simple like this, of this wood. No messing about, just make sure it's all nice and sharp. There will be a little bit of soft areas in the corners, but that's all good. And frame it up about there. And then my other initial thought was the plaster, if you can even still call it plaster, through the window is a really nice texture detail. So let's just swing you around here. This window at the back's actually way cooler than that front one that I shot before. So just a reminder to do your 360, guys, around your subject. So a couple of other points that I absolutely love about shooting like this is that no matter what lens you use, whether it's a prime, whether it's a zoom, whether you're somebody that likes to shoot change lenses when you're out shooting, it really shows you how many different angles and details and stuff you can capture with kind of any focal length and any lens. I've had the 40 on all day today and you've seen all the different variety of angles, close in, further out, details, etc. So it opens your mind up to that a lot, which I think is also very valuable, especially when you're getting to know a focal length if you are like I am. And then the final last point I would say is if you're somebody that wants to go on in the future and maybe create a photo book or create a project that sits on your website or base your photos on a certain area and you want to have this collection where they all sit nicely together. This is like training for that. I think it works really well. In essence, I guess each little trio that you take when you're doing this is almost like a mini little project in itself, isn't it? A little trio of images, a little story. And yeah, that's fantastic practice if you want to go on and create a project that is an overall bigger story. I hope I've done that point justice because I feel like I'm so hungry now that I'm just completely rambling. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And come and join me for more videos. Post one every week, almost every week. As always, I'll see you in the next one.